welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my nose piercing. The last video done on my nose piercing, if you're interested in it, is just basically all about my nose piercing and my experience. I will link it down below or up here somewhere. But today I'm going to talk more in depth about how I clean and care for my nose piercing, and also what are keloids and how I tackle keloids, since I have a massive keloid on my nose here and I have been troubled with keloids for, I kid you not, since April. First of all, when you're starting with a new piercing, my piercing isn't exactly new, but it's still definitely healing. It is 6 months old, but anytime you've got a piercing that's new or fresh or still healing, you should always wash your paws. So I'm going to go do it quickly because I haven't washed them, and I'll be right back. So my hands are all scrubby-dubby clean now. So first of all, I'm going to show you what I use to clean my nose, and then I'll show you how I clean it. I'm not going to clean it properly in camera because I'm going to show you how I treat my keloids, and that I'll show you on camera. So what I've got here is just 4 cotton buds, or as they call them in America, Q-tips, and I just use these to get in and really get around my piercing and make sure all the gunk and crusties is gone. Sometimes, I've never done it personally, but sometimes nose piercings can be really tricky to get in and clean because the area is so small around it. So some people would recommend using a toothpick rather than a cotton bud, because cotton buds are quite big to get in and around it. This is a spray I use to clean all of my piercings. I just get it in the shop that I get pierced in. The shop I get pierced in is in Glasgow and it's called Keloids. This is just extra strength piercing spray, and that's all I use to clean my piercings. I used to use sea salt soaks, but my skin is very sensitive, and the sea salt soaks would dry out my skin, not just the piercing but my skin everywhere, and it would just lead to horrible messes. So I just don't use sea salt anymore, and I use just this or really hot water. So I'm going to zoom you up real close and show you how I clean my nose piercings. You can see there's my nose piercing right here, and if you can see a bump or a lump, I will talk about that later, but not right now. So usually what I do is I take that cotton bud and I take that spray, work around it like so, making sure all the crusty bits are gone. Like I said, I'm not actually doing it right now. This doesn't have any spray on it. I'm just showing you how I would do it. And also, if you prefer a fast, quicker way to do it, if you're out in a rush, you could just spray it directly onto the nose piercing. But this is if there's any crusty bits that you want to just get off quickly, you can use this. Take a close look at that bump right here at the side, just under my nose piercing, because this bad boy is a keloid, and this is what I'm going to talk to you about now. So I thought now would be a perfect time as ever to talk about keloids, since I have an absolutely massive one on my nose and it's been there since April. Keloids are exactly what you've seen. They are raised small red bumps around the piercing. They're not actually in the piercing themselves, they are around the piercing. Now, having a keloid does not mean your nose piercing, or I keep referring to a nose piercing because I'm referring to my own, but you can get keloids in any piercing. You can get them in ear piercings, helix piercings, belly button piercings, you can get them anywhere. If I keep referring to nose piercings, that's why. But they are usually raised little red bumps you get in and around the piercing, and they're usually caused by movement and friction. If you have a hoop in your nose, you are more likely to get them because the hoop moves around a lot. I wasn't quite sure why I was troubled with keloids so much, and then it dawned on me. Shout out to anyone out there watching, or you know anyone out there who wears glasses and has a nose piercing, because it is literally the hardest thing to maintain in the world. My nose is so small that no glasses can hold. Always fall down my face, and they always probably bump or catch my piercing. Now, I don't even really notice it so much anymore, but that's probably constantly why I have a keloid here. Also, one thing you need to know about a keloid is if you have them, do not pick them, do not touch them, do not play with them, do not burst them, because yes, sometimes they can be filled with fluid and pus. Don't do anything with them. The only time you should touch them is when you're cleaning them. I'm learning from that mistake because I think that's another reason why this keloid's taking ages to come, because when it gets to this stage, I just want to pick it off, and you can't do that because it's like a scar. If you pick at it, it'll just bleed or it'll just disappear, but it'll come back again. It's the exact same thing for a keloid. And also, the number one thing you have to remember with keloids is just because you have them, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It does not mean that you have to take your piercing out. No, they are very common and they're very easy things to fix. Now, granted, they are easy things to fix, they heal overnight. Like I have said to you, I've had this keloid since April. Now, usually most keloids take, I'd say the big ones take a couple of weeks, and smaller ones a couple of days, but it's definitely not an overnight job. No matter even if your keloid's the tiniest keloid, it still will take a couple of days. So I'm going to show you how I get rid of my keloids, and the way I do it really works for me. Now, disclaimer, I probably should have done this at the start. I am not a professional piercer. I am just a girl who researches piercings to death and has a genuine interest in them. I'm not a piercer. So just because I'm telling you how I clean my piercings or how I treat them, I'm not saying you have to follow my procedures. I'm basically just saying this is how I do it, and if you're looking for a new way of cleaning your piercings or getting rid of your keloids, then here's an alternative option. I'm not asking you to do it. It's just a hobby, and I just like to share my opinions. This is what I use to treat my keloids. This is tea tree. You can get tea tree anywhere. I usually get this box from Tesco and it goes for about £4. Yes, it's quite expensive. I'll show you the bottle. Here is the bottle, but this bottle can last you quite a while. It's the second bottle I went through because I've had this guy for a while. So all I do, I will spill this everywhere no doubt, is, you don't need a lot because it is strong. You just take some. You could probably see that better than I can, but I probably dropped that all over the floor. So I've got some on my cotton bud now. Usually you just do 2 or 3 drops. I wouldn't do this too often because it's really strong. I do this tea tree once a day, but if your keloid isn't as bad as mine, I really would recommend only doing it a couple of times a week just because of how strong it is. I've had my keloid since April, so I'm pretty fed up with it and I want to see the back of it. So I'm getting to the stage now where I'm doing this morning and night. Zoomed you up real close again. So what you're going to do with this cotton bud, I've got the tea tree on it, is you're going to put the cotton bud on the keloid. Just the keloid, not the piercing, because we don't want to dry out the piercing. So I'm popping it on the keloid, just up and down, rubbing it softly. Because it still is attached to your skin after all. There we go. Tea tree is an antiseptic, and what this actually does is it dries the keloid out, so eventually it will crust over and fall off. That is the idea behind it. So as you can see, I'm not actually circling the whole piercing, I'm just tapping and circling the keloid. You don't want to use this as a cleaning agent, you just use this if you have keloids. Do not use this to clean your piercing. This is just to get rid of keloids. All you do, obviously, once you're done, you throw your used cotton bud in the bin and you can clean your piercing. Ideally, if you're going to be cleaning your piercing and doing keloid treatment, I'd advise cleaning your piercing first and then doing keloid treatment. That's usually what I do. And when I have a keloid, I usually just clean my piercings with hot water because I don't want the piercing spray and the tea tree to be mixing together, because I don't want my piercing to be diluted with the tea tree and then it's been cleaned with the tea tree, or vice versa. I don't want them intermingling. So that is how I clean and care for my nose piercing and my keloid. If you have any other questions regarding keloids, feel free to comment down below. I'd be happy to answer. Like I said, I'm not a professional piercer, but I do research piercings thoroughly. It's a hobby of mine, and I'm quite well educated on it. So I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye guys!